And actually what I like to start with first is I went on the web and tried to find something funny that I could start with. And I found this, that it's not really funny, but it's informative. I said, okay, I guess I could go with informative. What the heck? So this is just like a little 3-minute bit on what an architect does.
The best way to prevent fraud is to leverage technology. You don't want...
Hi, my name is Doug Pat, and this is So You Want to Be an Architect, a 7-part series exploring the profession of architect. This is Lesson 1. What does an architect do? An architect can perform many roles, including design, specification writer, construction observation, ombudsman, and even in some cases, construction. But for the purposes of this discussion, I'd like to focus on design. According to one definition from my Apple Computer Dictionary, the architect is a person who is responsible for inventing.
That's what we used to do. Every line put down with a pencil, and if it got smeared or something,
another definition states that an architect is a person who designs buildings, and in many cases supervises their construction. Finally, Wikipedia's definition works really well. An architect is a person who translates a user's requirements into a built environment. To summarize then, an architect, 1, invents, 2, designs buildings, and 3, translates the user's requirements into a built environment. In a way, all 3 definitions fall under the category of design. For the purposes of this discussion, let's talk about all 3 separately. First, we know an architect invents. An inventor creates something out of necessity that does not exist already. In a way, every building, every house, every skyscraper, everything architects create, if it's original, is an invention. A building becomes something of an invention by virtue of the specific requirements of the client. Its utility lies in its unique function for the person or people it's designed for. Second, we know an architect designs. To design is to plan with a specific purpose in mind. To me, designing implies a kind of thoughtful planning relative to a set of parameters. All kinds of things are designed after they're invented. Vacuums, sneakers, printers, headphones, telephones, chairs, tables, silverware, and of course, buildings. The architect designs a building after it's conceived or invented. Thirdly, the architect is a translator in that they translate a user's requirements into a built environment. When you first meet with an architect, one of the first discussions is about the program. The program is essentially a description of everything that will be going into the building. If it's a home, the program includes number of powder rooms, bathrooms, bedrooms, how many car garage, etc. If it's an industrial building, the program includes machinery, offices, technology, etc. If it's a skyscraper, it includes use, number of occupants, utility spaces, executive suites, number of floors, etc. In simple terms, the architect takes the program and turns it into a building. So, we see that while all 3 of these items, invention, design, and translation, fall under the category of Big D, design, each is vital to the role of an architect. So, if someone asks you, what does an architect do? You know to start with, they're inventors, they're designers, and they're translators. And that concludes the first part of our video series, So You Want to Be an Architect. I'm Doug Pat. See you next time on How to Architect.
See how to close that. Just click home.
There you go. So this is only kind of why my website got recently redone, or fairly recently, last year or so. And I'm really happy with how it turned out, so I just thought I'd kind of walk you through a little bit. There is Dale's fabulous photo right on the first page of the slideshow.
Very particular.
No.
That's why he's so good.
Wow. So when it comes up, you know, it's just a slideshow of various projects that we just kind of change out
That's my name.
from time to time. Are you up there?
Yeah,
past that house 2 or 3 times a day.
Okay. Looks a little better than it did before.
Oh my gosh.
That was a remodel in Crystal Bay. This is one just finished up, and these people have gotten to be really good friends of ours now. That's one that's in the works. So anyway, so that's the slideshow, and then we always have some featured projects down here that you can click on, and we kind of rotate those. And then all of them up here are organized under residential, commercial, or ones that are kind of in progress. Like I talked about on testimonials, I am so glad I did this. It's got, when we were rebuilding the website, I just asked several of my clients if they could put a little something together. And I've got a pretty good selection of a whole bunch of, and you know, it doesn't have to be long, just 2 or 3 sentences. Some people are more long-winded than others, and that's okay.
Helps in your SEO big time.
Does it?
Yes.
Okay, good. And then I did the same thing with builders, you know, because I think it says a lot if people know that builders don't hate you. So let me just walk you through a few projects. A lot of them are residential remodel additions. A lot of the work up here has been that. You know, that's one that just finished up on Woodridge. Usually what we do is when the project is completed and we take a final photograph of the exterior, then we insert a little before picture to show what it looked like before. And then, you know, the slideshow continues with some shots of, usually more shots of the exterior and the interior as well. This was mostly just this area of the house. It was adding on that whole area back there. That's all new because the building used to end here right where that fireplace wall was. We had all that on, then they got an expanded dining room nook, and they got this huge kitchen. She's a really big cook. So it was a large gourmet kitchen, and they just could not be happier with it.
I'd be happy with that kitchen. Yeah.
That's one in Crystal Bay that I just finished up. I don't know, you guys tell me which one you maybe
I
like
want
to
to see that one.
This one here?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is in Crystal Bay. It's right next to Crystal Tower. It's right on the highway as you're going out of Incline Village. You'll probably recognize when you see the front side. You're probably right. That's what it looks like from the front.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have a before on
It
that
was a
one?
tear down. It was there used to be a Coldwell Banker office there. Remember? There was a little cabin with a deck. It was right up close. Right. Right. This is done for a really great guy, Rod Campbell. He owned the Coldwell Banker franchise in Incline Village. Then he sold it to Tom Clydesdale, and you know, Dee Dee could tell you who owns it now. But great guy. He's probably about 85 now, and he's still just going like crazy.
This wasn't the house with the crane for 10 years. Right?
No.
Five or whatever.
This was done quite a bit.
That's a tower.
That was done quite.
Oh, okay.
This was done quite a bit before that.
Right, that's crazy.
How about the one by you, Stacy?
Oh gosh, that one. The one on Tyner by me?
Yeah, matter of fact, that's interesting because he contacted me because he liked the look of the one we just looked at from the street. He liked the copper fascias and the stonework and everything. So I'm sure you'll see a similarity when you see how that one turned out.
It was so awful before. It looked like something that should have been in Southern California in a really random location.
So there's the before picture on that. Let me go back to it.
It was like stucco and just funky.
That is weird.
That was actually done by the architect I told you about that I worked for when I first came to town.
The lights always make it look so pretty, too.
That copper's so pretty.
And that was just an exterior job. He had already remodeled the interior. I don't think he really got much in the way of design assistance. He just kind of turned a contractor loose on, cleaning up the interior, remodeling the kitchen, and everything kind of stayed where it was. He just, new cabinets and fixtures and paint, and then when it was time to do the outside, that house in Crystal Bay caught his eye, and that's when he called me.
No one's ever there.
Yeah, he lives in LA. He's not there very much.
Yeah.
Right?
Much more time do I have? About 4 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where's that one? Oh, that's on Tyner. So that,
That one's on time.
because I'm like, I drive by that house too every day.
Really nice people. He used to be a CEO or CFO with Under Armour. And he just retired. He worked for Nautica before that, and then Under Armour. And they just kind of stumbled on Lake Tahoe, and he bought that. Remember what that house looked like?
Yeah.
That's
I got to go back and rephotograph it. I did this right after it was finished, but it was before they moved in and had all the furniture in there and everything, so definitely need to get some better photos. But that was a complete top to bottom remodel with an addition of that entry element that you would see over here, like that little pop out there is all new, and then these roofs and so forth. But other than that, it's the same box. It was just remodeled top to bottom. This one turned out a lot better than I thought it would. This is if you're driving towards Crystal Bay and you look up to the right where the Boulder Bay project's going to be, past where they took out the old casino, and it's just an old, it's right up in there, up on Wasso. And I don't particularly like the siding, matter of fact, because it's just this, synthetic siding that I don't really like. I even thought that once we photographed it, I'd have to Photoshop it to a different color. But, we always take these shots at twilight, and it kind of softens it a little bit, so I think, I just leave it. But that's what it looked like before.
Wow.
So that was a whole garage addition over here. All this stuff got ripped out, and then a new entry addition alongside of it. And we even dug out a huge area underneath to increase the square footage down there. And then we've got all the square footage above the new garage. And then this guy's house has decks like crazy. This deck is huge. You've got both of these decks here. You've got another little deck up here.
Snow collection.
That kitchen island is to die for.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It's a great party house.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that island is just huge. He lives in Sacramento. He gets up here quite a bit.
Oh,
That's beautiful.
Jim, was your house a remodel? Or was it built?
No, it was a tear down. I mean, a big, unimproved lot. That's my house.
Good party house.
Yeah.
Wow. Where's your house at?
It's up on Tumbleweed.
Had a lot of tiki parties.
Not enough.
No, we need more.
So let me show you this too. Then I've got commercial too. There's not a whole lot there. I do mostly residential work. But Corporate Vision's building, that was a remodel years ago. St. Francis Church. This is actually a property that we own that we had developed as a little commercial building. Right now there's a little cabin there.
The one next to the
And we just,
theater.
when the economy tanked, we just never pursued it. Dee Dee's working on trying to get us about $800,000 or $900,000 for it.
There's the communications tower.
And then I added this too. I started thinking, I have too many projects, like the one that Dale photographed, that's why she had to do so much Photoshop work, isn't even finished. So we couldn't do any interior shots. but I wanted to get something. So, you know, we were able to pull it off, and I pointed out earlier how she did that great job with the boulders here, so you don't see this funky wall that they built. But anyway, I started doing more and more of getting things that are in progress. Like this one's just barely out of the design stage, and I'm doing it in Revit, so it's real easy to just do a quick little snapshot of the 3D model and just get something on there, you know.
It's actually good that you have that, so because people have a hard time visualizing architecture in the design phase.
Oh yeah, and I think, you know, why not? I mean, people like to look at sketches too.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a finished photograph. We use some other things. This is the one in North Star that I'm working on right now. So I'm starting to add more and more, and I'm also got a guy that does renderings for a really reasonable price. So I'm having him, as I finish projects, if they weren't done in Revit, which is the 3D modeling program, I'll have him do a rendering that I can get on here. He's working on like about 5 of them for me, so I can just get them on here and have something, rather than waiting a year and a half until construction is complete when you can photograph it. So that is about it. Just one other thing real quick I just thought I'd show you. I think some of you have already seen this because I did it last time, but Revit, this is the program that I bought it about 2 years ago, and then or a little longer than that I guess, and then when the economy slowed down, I just didn't have enough projects that really warranted it, because you really need to have like a nice full fee, high-end residential project to justify the use of it and the fee that you have to charge the clients. So I did like one project on it, and then I wasn't able to use it for about 2 years, and now I'm starting to get more new residences in the office, and it's so I'm able to use it again. But what's really cool is that you can really use it as a great design tool, where you actually design all these roofs, you know, using the model. You know, as you're working, you can spin it around and take a look at it. You build a couple of roofs, and then you click on the you click on the mass and spin it around and take a look at what they look like, and you see everything so much sooner and so much clearer than when you're just working on a 2D drawing. That that you can actually, in the long run, ends up going faster. And I'm so glad that this is another example of having a small office versus a bigger office. In a larger office, 9.5 times out of 10, an architect that would have this program, I guess I did the wrong one, would not know how to use it like I do, because in bigger offices, they just do not. So you can do this. You can hide a whole category. And there I just told it just to hide the whole roof, every roof, and then you can look inside. And it's really helpful too, because as you start building the model more and more, there's more of the things you can't see. You know, you want to look over there, you just put the roof on, you can't see inside. You can also cut sections through it. But anyway, most architects wouldn't take advantage of using it as a design tool, because they still think of Revit the same way they think of AutoCAD, which is the 2D program that we use, and that is that they do design sketches like the YouTube video that I showed you, you know, hand-drawn sketches, and then they hand them off to their design production people, and then they start drawing up the hand sketches on the computer. Well, with Revit, if you do it that way, you miss the whole opportunity to use it as a design tool. So I'm really glad that I learned it. Matter of fact, this house is a house in North Star, and when I went to the design review meeting a couple of months ago and had to present it, one of the members of the board is an architect. He works for Ryan Group Architects in Truckee. And he said something like, yeah, do you find yourself standing over him all the time and, you know, saying, hey, turn that way and turn that way? I said, well, no, I mean, I made a point of learning it myself so that I could use it as a design tool, and I'm really glad I did. And he kind of, oh. So I've just been having a ball with it. It's really fun. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to show you. Actually, let me see.
You can never make a mistake.
Guts, you can even do, I don't know.
Just change it.
Is that the Frank Gehry building in Vegas?
One of the.
No, that's the Disney concert hall in LA.
Oh, that's right, that's right.
You designed that one too, right?
Yeah, right. Okay, I don't know how to do these. I have to talk to my draft person on that one. I'm totally dependent on those.
Oh, you're a walkthrough?
Well, yeah, there's a way to play it. It becomes a Windows Media thing, but Yeah, I don't know how you play it. Anyway, that's it, except, of course, for a closing joke. Why men shouldn't write advice columns. Dear John, I hope you can help me. The other day I set off for work, leaving my husband in the house watching TV. My car stalled, and then it broke down about a mile down the road, and I had to walk back to get my husband's help. When I got home, I couldn't believe my eyes. He was in our bedroom with the neighbor's daughter. I am 32, my husband is 34, and the neighbor's daughter is 19. We have been married for 10 years. When I confronted him, he broke down and admitted they had been having an affair for the past 6 months. He won't go to counseling, and I'm afraid I'm a wreck and need advice urgently. Can you please help? Sincerely, Sheila. Dear Sheila, a car stalling after being driven a short distance can be caused by a variety of faults with the engine. Start by checking that there is no debris in the fuel line. If it is clear, check the vacuum pipes and the hoses on the intake manifold, and also check all grounding wires. If none of these approaches solves the problem, it could be that the fuel pump itself is faulty, causing a low delivery pressure to the injectors. I hope this helps, John.
That's good.
Why did you drive?
Thank you, Jim.